Alright guys, now we're going to check out example number 5. Now you'll notice in example number 5 they did not give us much information. We have to infer this information from the diagram. In the previous problems it was mostly words that we had to translate into a picture. Now it's the reverse. We're taking a picture and we're translating it into words. Now the first thing you have to look at is classifying the polygon, just like we did before. You'll notice it's not regular. It does not appear to be regular. There's nothing in this that lets us know it's regular, so it's irregular. It is definitely convex. And most importantly, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a hexagon. Now we know a formula for the interior angles of a regular hexagon. However, this is an irregular hexagon, so we cannot use that formula. What we have to do is realize that since it is a hexagon, we can figure out what the total interior angle measure is. The total interior is given by the equation n minus 2 times 180. And by now we should know what n is. N is the number of sides. So let's figure out the total interior angle measure. The total interior angle measure is 6 minus 2, because it's a hexagon, times 180. So we have 4 times 180, which would be 360 times 2, which is 720 degrees. So we know the total interior angle measure is 720. Now, we're not told that all these are the same. Even though they look the same, we know that they are not the same. So since we know the total is 720, let's add up all the angles. The angles being x plus 20, x plus 20 here, plus 100, plus x, you can see I'm working around this way, plus x plus 20, plus 100, equals the total. Since we added up all the angles, it needs to add up to 720 degrees. So now we have an equation. Now we can solve for x, and we can figure out what the value of x is going to be. So let's change the color up a little bit and find our like terms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, so we have 4x. Let's look for our constant terms, which would be 20, 100, 20, and 100. So that's 100, 200, 220, 240. And this equals, same thing on the side, 720. So we have a very nice linear equation. You'll notice we already have our x's on one side. Let's get our numbers to the other. Subtract 240 minus 240. And we get, bring down our 4x. We get our constants canceled out here. The whole reason why we did that equals 720 minus 240. 0. Cancel to 6. We carry the 1. 12 minus 4 is 8. So we get 480. Now, we still need to get x by itself. To isolate it, we divide by 4. Divide by 4. So we get x equals, goes in there once, 2 times, 120 degrees. You see how easy these are to set up if we follow our procedure. We know that we have a hexagon and it's convex, so we can figure out what the total angle measure is. We know that all of the angles, whether they're variables or not, all these 6 angles must add up to 720, as our interior angle theorem gave us. Here's our 720. Now this 720, like I said, adds up from all of our angles. We simplified our like terms and solve for x like we normally would. If we go through and fill them in, we will also see that it adds up to 720. Why don't you guys try the guided practice? The guided practice, you'll notice, is a little different. Make it a little bigger for you guys. The guided practice is a pentagon. And it is convex. What I want you guys to do, pause the video, see if you can set up the equation. I'll come back and check on you in just a little bit. So, all right, now that you've paused the video, you should know, first of all, that since we have a convex pentagon, we can use the equation to figure out the total interior angle measure is n minus 2 times 180. From that we know, since the pentagon n is 5, simplify 3 times 180, which would be 540. So we know the total is 540. I think you guys have seen enough that you can set up this equation and solve for x. Once you have finished watching example number 5, fill in the answer for on your own, raise your hand and I'll come check the on your own questions for a classwork grade. Now the way that I'll know that you've watched all these videos is when I come over and say, how are you guys doing? You're going to say, Mr. Chodakal, we're doing great. Thank you.